Hello everyone. For a while now, I wanted to talk about something that has been bothering me lately. It might look like I come out too strong in this video about this issue, but please don't take it too seriously and try to have some fun with it. In the past few years, I noticed something. I noticed it significantly more when the discussion was surrounding Final Fantasy 16. This is not necessarily an issue that is present exclusively in the gaming community. And if I think more deeply about it, it's probably a thing as old as humanity itself. But in the gaming community, to me, it really sticks out like a sore thumb. I will also have to leave out a disclaimer that even I shamelessly partook in this thing I'll be talking about. Final Fantasy 16 is the best experience I ever had with video games, and a few people didn't like this title, which is, perfectly fine and reasonable. Not? What? The problem here, however, is unfair criticism and stuff that is barely or not even remotely true. And my huge issue with it, and the reason why I wanted to make this video, is that a lot of these points are made by prominent figures in the gaming community, which in turn they start to spread like wildfires because thousands or probably tens of thousands of people that are unwittingly participate in their creation. One of these things that is being said about the game, which is kind of a neutral point, is that the story or the characters are similar to Game of Thrones, which I largely disagree with. I did not enjoy the series at all, and to be fair, I believe I only watched like the first 9 episodes and then stopped after they killed off the which I thought was the best character in the show. You know who I'm talking about. I won't spend too much time talking about the Game of Thrones, but to me, a lot of the concepts portrayed in that show I disliked quite a lot. And while similarities, with Final Fantasy 16 are admittedly present, they are only but a very small fraction of it, in my opinion. Most people, however, say that the story and the characters are, for the most part, like Game of Thrones, which I couldn't disagree more.
So Final Fantasy 16 is kind of the same way. They go really hardcore into the whole Game of Thrones inspiration, to the point where I don't like Game of Thrones, but I would consider watching the show after playing Final Fantasy 16. There's a lot of intrigue, a lot of politics, a lot of new empires, if you will, and how they intermingle with one another.
Talk with another friend of mine who has watched more of this series, and also Platinum, the Final Fantasy 16, who said the exact same thing as me. So I can't be the only one with this opinion. Another point popular reviewers make is that this game is similar to The Witcher 3, and with that I can get behind, because to me it's quite obvious they took a lot of inspiration from it. And this is due to the atmosphere and just in general how the game feels as a whole when playing it, and being immersed with the world and everything else. A lot of these points are made sometimes as a personal observation. At other times, it's just innocently repeating something another reviewer or a person said. A clear example of why I think this is a kind of a big issue in today's day and age, where everyone is connected by the internet, will actually be a video review. I chose to talk about this due to the negative impact I started to notice, and the consequences of that fact is that it has in the past, and it still is in my opinion, suddenly preventing a lot of gamers enjoy experiences otherwise they might actually have, but because of these reviewers or some of the videos on YouTube, it turned them off from even trying out the game, because they already made up their mind about it.
You know what? It's embarrassing to say this myself, but summoners and their guardians are kind of like Spira's ray of light.
Okay.
A lot of people in Spira depend on us. I learned to practice smiling when I'm feeling sad,
Aw, that's sweet.
I know it's hard. Right. Now let's see what you can do.
Huh?
Come on.
Come on, give a big smile, Titus.
Oh God.
This is weird.
True.
Next, try laughing out loud.
What?
Come on, show me.
Kind of endearing when you have the context, you know?
You probably
Yeah.
shouldn't laugh anymore.
That was Final Fantasy X. That was pretty fucking amazing, man. I see why that is a lot of people's favorite. It's very easy to understand why the game is a masterpiece. The voice acting, very goofy at times, but had a lot of charms, and I feel like aged pretty well. I can't think of many games that came out in 2001 with that much voice acting in it that would have aged nearly as well. The forced laughing scene. It was also get to experience the forced laughing scene and see that it wasn't as bad as everyone makes it out to be. I feel like with context, it makes a lot more sense.
And the problem is not necessarily criticizing the games. It's actually lying about them, and maybe not on purpose, but in this specific video I'll be covering. Skill Up, I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but he's omitting stuff or lies about certain aspects, and also like blows out of proportion, exaggerates other points he's making, and I kind of want to talk about that, but it just feels very disingenuous, and because I really enjoyed my time with this game, kind of got a bit angry. So I will just cover the Skill Up preview of Final Fantasy 16. I don't really want to talk about him, like personally. I just want to cover this video, and this video has over 600,000 views. Which is quite a lot, and in my opinion, this is so disingenuous, and he himself proves that.
While combat has mechanical depth, it has none of the strategic depth that might leverage things such as elemental weaknesses or status magics.
Yeah, in case you noticed, Final Fantasy 16 is not an RPG, so you cannot ask for game mechanics that lead to strategic depth from an action game.
Anything happens to me, it's up to you. Nothing should happen.
I'm guessing he means since it's only an action game, he cannot find like a similar combat experience like he used to do with the rest of the series. But he played this demo, like he played the game like in Japan. I think he said, "What do you expect? Like you saw the trailers." And I hear constantly people talking about this. Oh my god, this is not a turn-based RPG. Oh my god, this is like the worst game ever. What the hell? What the hell? How could they do this?
For me, personally, Final Fantasy XVI's use of cutscenes is laborious, indulgent, and extremely outdated. This game has no interest in trying to maintain the illusion of playability. It just surrenders itself to this lopsided seesaw where you push through these brief bursts of gameplay to be treated to an admittedly very exciting cutscene. For me, personally, Final Fantasy XVI's use of cutscenes is laborious, indulgent, and extremely outdated. To be treated to an admittedly very exciting cutscene. There is nothing waiting for you at the other side here in 16, except for a new game plus. If you don't like this character, this story, and this combat system, then there's just nothing else here for you to enjoy.
A few moments later.
But they do culminate in these epic showdowns, and believe me when I tell you that you are not ready for just how epic these icon battles are. They are absolutely fucking incredible to behold. Incredible. Anyone who has played Final Fantasy XIV will know how big this team can go when it comes to spectacle. This is an entirely new level for this team, and when you see these battles, they will absolutely blow your mind. You genuinely have not seen anything like this before.
Again, he highly praises another aspect of the game. You remember, like, it does not recommend this game at all.
So mechanically and stylistically, Final Fantasy XVI's combat really nails that approachability angle. It is masterfully designed to welcome in new players and get them feeling like badasses really fast. The basic combo animations look sweet, the dodge windows are generous, the witch time slowdown is very slow, and the activatable abilities are all very potent and they just look fucking cool. Big, elaborately animated moves with custom camera work that slow down and frame the action. It never stops being super satisfying to execute some of the bigger haymakers because the sights, the sounds, and the feedback are all totally on point. Final Fantasy XVI is very linear, very narrow, very dour, and in my view, not a lot of fun. Final Fantasy XVI, it really pains me to say that I don't like this and I don't think it's particularly good. The presentation is a really big deal and I don't want to gloss over it. This is a really, really beautiful looking game. Artistically, you just want to drink it all in. The cityscape locations you visit, the cinematic in-engine cutscenes, the framing of this action, it is really remarkable to behold. That is something that has always been a hallmark of Final Fantasy games, cutting edge presentation, and in this aspect, Final Fantasy XVI is 100% faithful to that legacy. The load times are a real standout actually. There are basically no load times when playing this game. That's impressive when it involves selecting a node on the map and then you're there like 2 seconds later, but it's more impressive in the way it supports the transition between combat and cinematics. The game is constantly moving between the two so quickly, and the only way you can tell is that the playable sections have less graphical fidelity than the cutscenes, but not by a lot. It always looks great no matter what it's doing.
He again praises other aspects of this game, which again contradicts himself like quite badly.
If there's one thing I really love about Final Fantasy XVI, it's this world. Valisthea is such a fascinating location, truly one of the best ever Final Fantasy worlds in my view. It is so deeply political in its construction. You have this landmass divided into kingdoms, each of them ruled by a different faction with their own architecture, faiths, belief systems, and their own unique relationship to the dominants and icons that protect them. The dominants are themselves fascinating. They are vessels for these all-powerful deities, and you might imagine that gives them license to rule, or at least affords them a revered place in society.
Didn't you say you don't recommend this game?
This is a deeply political game, not in a partisan sense, but in its focus and themes. Its chapters will regularly play out in king's courts, in tents on the front lines of a battlefield, poring over maps looking at troop movements and formations. The cast of this saga are kings and queens and courtesans and economic advisors. The game has an entire menu system set up to regularly explain the state of Valisthea's nations, the locations of their armies, their political goals, and their recent movements. It's almost grand strategy-esque at times. And if you're down for Machiavellian machinations and statecraft and palace intrigue and Napoleonic-style continental warfare, then you're gonna love this part of Final Fantasy XVI. But if your eyes glaze over at the mere mention of this stuff, Final Fantasy XVI is gonna be a very tough game to get through, I can promise you that. For me though, I liked it. Final Fantasy XVI is gonna be a very tough game to get through, I can promise you that. For me though, I liked it. I liked it.
How ended the Holy Dark Kefka? Is he saying he doesn't recommend the game at all, but then proceeds to talk about how much he liked the specific part of it? I don't know what game he actually played, because the strategies that he's talking about are nowhere near as complex as he makes them out to be, if any at all. The most confusing part of this political saga is actually trying to figure out what character belongs to which specific kingdom and what is that faction actually is trying to accomplish. Because and everything else is simple, like the attacks. They just go there, do that, go there, attack that kingdom, go there, attack that area. That's it. Because all the kingdoms are kind of like getting desperate, also for power, but also for survival, because there's this blight that poisons everything that is life, and for the most part trying to conquer other territories to try to survive, to flee from this blight, or or they try to conquer for power, and that's it. But there's no strategies that goes really into this battle. There's no mastermind battle plans. There's nothing like that. Further proving time and time and time again that this guy is actually taking arguments out from a storage laid inside the depths of his butthole. I think he might confuse this game with Final Fantasy 14. I have never played that game, but yeah, there's nothing like that.
That's the other side of the seesaw, dropping you into the semi-open world to do work that is absolutely beneath a man of Clive's considerable abilities. Local pickpockets are on the prowl. Someone better track them down by asking lots of questions in town. Oh, some bandits are raiding a village. Better go stop them. One of the working ladies from the brothel is missing. Could you go and ask like 4 people what's up with that and then report back?
And what is complaining here about? That's like every other fucking game, you prick. I'm sorry.
I kid you not, at one point I just felled a mighty icon in what was one of the most mind-blowing boss showdowns I've ever seen in my life, and then immediately after that, like literally 5 minutes after that, I was being tasked by the town engineer to go and collect lumps of dirt. So I was walking by this riverbed, collecting dirt.
This is a bloody fucking side quest you've taken here. You could have just gone on with the main story. I find this so disingenuous. This is so ridiculous, man. Yes, you had this big icon fight, and then you have to do the side quest, which you choose to do with your own hands, with your own mind, and then complain about it.
There was one moment in the game where it was rallying everyone for the next big push, and it was meant to be this very emotional scene that creates this feeling of camaraderie between everyone. And in any other Final Fantasy game, that scene would be thick with like 8 to 10 people, each of them these elaborately designed iconic party members with rich backstories and so much more to share as you journey forth with them. Here, this scene had 1 actual party member and like 3 hangers-on and the town vendor. For real, they roped the vendor in to pad this scene out because the cast of characters is just so thin.
This specific scene is taking so much out of context. It is actually quite insane to me. He either conveniently or mistakenly forgot that there was actually another location for the faction of which the main character is part of. That was completely wiped out and was crushed, and a lot of NPCs died. Some of them survived, and they moved to another location, which is the one he talks about. By the end of the game, there will be more characters, which will trigger a lot of memorable scenes, especially before the final battle. And this will matter a lot if you've done the side quest as well, which he doesn't even talk about. And this is actually being done so well in this game because you do it, building relationship by helping parties, staving off enemies, and a lot of dark and deep emotional stuff kind of happens. And not really say emotional, but the way it kind of like bond with the NPCs so much because of what happens and the way you save them and the way the side quests are structured, and even the main quest is structured. The writing is impeccable. The way it's done here will build like an incredible camaraderie in between the characters. It is actually the best I've ever seen in a video game, hands down.
But there's a limit to what Star can do here, given how little other characters in the game challenge Clive or eke things out of him. Your party members in a Final Fantasy game were often there to bring out some new aspect of the main character. You'd have a different relationship with each member of your party, some of them being your love interest, your arch nemesis turned convenient ally, your mentor, a court jester, etc. Clive does not have those strong characters around him to push and pull him into different modes, and as such, Clive feels as dour and as one-note as the rest of the game does. In the intro, I talked about how much this game leaves behind the Final Fantasy legacy, and this party thing is one of the biggest deal breakers for me. I could deal with Clive being the only controllable character in combat, though to be honest, that is pretty disappointing. But for Clive to not be surrounded by deep, interesting companions, that is a massive oversight, and it's one of the many things that makes this feel a lot less Final Fantasy than any mainline entry I've played.
Yeah, I don't care about that in the slightest, man. Since the NPCs in this game make more than enough for the party that he's complaining you don't have. The lack of the type of characters he mentions here is, in my opinion, done by design, and is the same reason why the graphics, the story, and even the map with almost nothing to explore are the way they are. And this is to heighten your immersive experience into this dark, desolate world that is about to end. And you can feel it's about to end. Since almost the beginning of the game, the Blight wouldn't have such a meaningful impact to the player's experiences without it. And in my opinion, it works incredibly well, and I can't give enough credits to the developers for it. They did an outstanding job.
When you've decided where you want to go, you can open up the world map and a number of nodes appear. Some of these nodes will be for semi-open world maps where you can complete main and side quests, and the other nodes will be for your marquee main mission locations. These are strictly linear environments and feel very similar to the levels you'd find in Devil May Cry or Bayonetta, essentially a set of combat arenas connected by some corridors. You push through fighting waves of enemies, culminating in a boss or two at the end. These marquee main missions are the high point of the game, but even then, I still struggle with them. They are meant to be these gripping showdowns between hero and villain. They're meant to bring matters to a bloody head. They're meant to serve as the precursor to the icon battles, where your deities will duel to the death. Despite all of that, these missions are always just running through some corridors, killing some low-level bad guys, and then waiting for the cutscenes to advance the story. There's no scenario design in any of these missions, no variation that makes one feel different from another. Swap out the architecture and skyboxes, and these missions all feel functionally the same.
I'm really wondering what the fuck is this guy actually smoking, because it seems like it's not good quality. I disagree wholeheartedly with this statement. I was really immersed when I played these levels. The high quality art that it is encoded in these are just candy to the eyes. And no, I'm not talking about like the big icon fights. I could stare and run around these places for hours and hours without actually doing anything and enjoy every single millisecond of it.
Oh, and so boring that I can see scores of people just being unable to push through them. These swings between high and low are so vast that it feels like you're playing two totally different video games. One of them, this relentless breakneck AAA action blockbuster.
I enjoyed the rest of the game much more than the big icon fights. The side characters for me was what takes the cake, and the incredible writing. Sure, there are some boring parts of it, and I also have like some complaints about it. You know, some parts of the game just fall flat, and sometimes it can be a bit boring. But what picked up the interest for me was the incredible writing. Like, this is so grounded. I just cannot put it into words enough. The characters are so grounded, and the whole thing is like the main story. The characters are part of this world, are part of this main story. So you have like your main story, you have like the characters that are in the story, and you have the world. Every single one of these things, and even the graphics, the music. Everything is connected. Everything has a purpose. Everything is kind of like circular. Everything is like connected. You know, you see so many games and even shows, movies. You have different departments. You know, and this game is probably like this. You have different departments of different people doing different stuff. You know, and even though it's good or it's good or not good, like a lot of games, like because it's made by different departments, like certain stuff is made by different departments, it feels disconnected, you know, feels like this is not supposed to be here, this is breaking my immersion. But this game is not like this. This game is, everything is connected, everything is circular, and I really liked it. Almost everything. I will get into that when I will do my own video about the game. And also this is into side quests as well. Yeah, sure, there are some boring side quests, but I just cannot get over the fact that so many people say the side quests are boring, or they mention the first side quest you do, which I actually kind of enjoyed. I thought it was good, but the first side quest you do, and I hear quite a number of people complaining about it. It's kind of like a tutorial, just to get you used what you should do with the side quests and stuff. And even the first side quest, I thought it was interesting. Like, you have these people that are like the bottom of society. They are treated so bad, and you just bring food to them. Like, yeah, sure, you are a god, or you are so powerful, or you're the main character, but in the context of this story, I think this was done quite well. I don't have any complaints, but people complain about it. Oh my god, you have to bring some food to these characters. But this is like the tutorial side quest. Like, what else do you expect? I don't know. I just feel like this is like a useless complaint. Like, you're complaining like a video game character has hair. Oh my god, a video game character has hair. Yes, all of them have. What can you do?
And it feels like you're playing two totally different video games. One of them, this relentless, breakneck AAA action blockbuster, and the other, an old school fetch quest-based MMORPG. It speaks to a broader issue with quest design. The main missions are linear combat gauntlets, and the side missions are, yeah, they're basically just fetch quests, man. They're really, really bad. Go here and deliver these packages to these 3 people. Go and collect some scorpion parts. I need some wax for my boat, so go get it from this flower.
Fetching shit as a side quest. Like, this is a universal thing in every single RPG in existence.
This year, I played and loved Like a Dragon Ishin. That comment about the story standing still when the controller is in hand, I think you could say the same thing of Ishin, and most Yakuza games really. The difference though was I was really into Ishin's story, and it had a brilliant cast of characters, and when those cutscenes ended, there was this really broad game waiting for you, full of funny, interesting side quests, mini-games, progression systems worth engaging in, and an incredible city to explore, brimming with things to pique your curiosity. Final Fantasy XVI has none of that, especially when it comes to exploration, and that's the last thing that I want to touch on in this block.
Not every game has to have like Assassin's Creed's level of bloat, which even he heavily criticized like again and again. This game has its own unique style of vision, and maybe, just maybe, it doesn't need all that crap in it to be good, you know?
These spaces offer nothing in terms of exploration, surprise dungeons, worthy loot, chance encounters with NPCs who may be able to join your party or make themselves felt in some meaningful way throughout your journey. There is just nothing out there, man. Absolutely nothing.
That's a blatant lie. You actually find very good NPCs in the side quests you said are the worst you've ever seen. The only difference is that you don't fight them by exploring, and to be honest, I really don't care. I think the side quests are incredibly good. This is a personal thing or a subjective thing, but I really like them.
These spaces offer nothing in terms of exploration, surprise dungeons, worthy loot, chance encounters with NPCs who may be able to join your party or make themselves felt in some meaningful way throughout your journey. There is just nothing out there, man. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, he doesn't mention the hunts, does he? Not only does it add to the side content, to which he heavily and constantly complains there is none, but they are incredibly fun and very enjoyable for fans of the previous games of the series. And even if you played like Final Fantasy Dissidia, you are really going to like this game.
The goal for having the likes of Suzuki on board was to deliver a cutting-edge character action experience, but one that was accessible to newcomers who perhaps haven't played this type of game before. I think Suzuki and his team were largely successful. I think this is a good combat system, but I also think it lacks the mechanical depth, of dedicated character action games, and I think it lacks the strategic depth that was often the staple of more RPG-based combat systems. The other thing that's missing is any sort of strategic angle. Final Fantasy games have always reveled in their elemental magics, with enemies having certain weaknesses to some, being resistant to others. There was white healing magic, destructive black magic, harnessing the magic of enemies through blue magic, there was buffs and debuffs, there was all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it is an action game. You don't have RPG elements in it. Yes.
There was buffs and debuffs, there was all sorts of stuff, and Final Fantasy 16 has absolutely none of that. That's not a huge deal, but at the same time, wouldn't it have been cool if you had to respec at the start of a boss because you knew that boss was weak to fire magic?
Yeah, I don't care, to be honest. The game is incredibly good in my opinion. There's hundreds and hundreds of good, not even good, amazing turn-based JRPGs out there. If this game was one, for me, like a huge fan of this game, it wouldn't make any difference because the game is that good.
Itemization, man, this one really fucking sucks. So you have 3 gear slots and 3 accessory slots. If you're using any of the story mode accessories, then they actually take up those 3 slots. So you could potentially have 0 accessory slots available to you.
If you are a reviewer and feel the need to equip any of these accessories, not all of them, but any one of them, just one, I'm sorry, I think you should completely stop reviewing games, or at least these types of games. I can also see how he might talk from the perspective of someone who might use them, who might need to use them. But come on, you really don't need to equip all 3 of them, since you already said yourself the game is already too easy, and this detracted from your experience. And also the game is over 18, plus kids cannot play this game. You don't need to equip all 3 accessories. Come on.
This poor itemization doesn't just limit combat, it also has flow-on impacts for side quests and exploration. Side quests were already pretty dull, but they're totally unrewarding since there's no gear system to funnel these reward materials into. I run around collecting hundreds of sharp teeth or leather whatevers, and I have no use for any of them because there's nothing to craft, and even if there was, all it would give me is an additional 1% HP.
This is also blatantly false. If you do hunts and specific side quests towards the end of the game, you get to unlock some really powerful equipment, and now I'm seriously wondering if this guy even played this game.
So we got a character action game in Final Fantasy 16, but think about what was traded away in exchange. No party members, no elemental weaknesses, no buffs or debuffs, no meaningful progression, no itemization, no RPG in a Final Fantasy game. And this is a critical point to understand. Final Fantasy 16 is not an RPG, it is a straight up action game. And you may say, well, yeah, we always knew it would be, but did we? I knew that this would have character action combat, but I never imagined for a moment that all of the supporting RPG systems would be ripped out of one of the most iconic RPG franchises of all time. You're gonna tell me that that's an upgrade? I don't think it is. I think it sucks. I've spoken a lot about how much Final Fantasy 16 ignores this franchise's legacy. I could probably deal with a lot of that, but taking the RPG out of a mainline Final Fantasy game, that is just too much for me.
I'm so exhausted of the complaints about this game not being an RPG. I think all fans of the series are being obnoxiously loud and unreasonable about this point, and also about the newest Final Fantasy always not being like the previous ones. I am aware a lot of people are passionate and hot-headed because of this, and before you lose your mind about it in the comments.
Wait, let me tell you something. All right. Let me tell you something. Wait.
Listen, I am a fan of the old games myself, but I don't think this type of criticism is fair at all. And I will try to give you two examples for this. I couldn't finish Final Fantasy 12, which was an RPG, because the story, the characters, the pacing were so boring, and I actually wanted to love the game. I tried 3 separate times to get into it, and I just couldn't. And I am aware not everyone dislikes it, but I know people who have played this series since the first game was released, and they stopped touching Final Fantasy games altogether because they hated 12 so much. And a similar thing happened with the next main title, which was 13. In my case, the story in 13 was so overwhelmingly confusing in the first part of the game, and add to that uninteresting characters just resulted in me not even being able to make it at least past the first half of the game. And I know some people like it, but there's so many people that do not. And it is an RPG. Oh my god! My point is making a Final Fantasy turn-based or even an RPG does not guarantee a good game. And this criticism towards it has become so redundant to hear, because let's be honest, the type of game all fans are actually looking for is a Final Fantasy made by Squaresoft, with Hironobu Sakaguchi at the helm of the company, and people still to this day cannot get through their head that they will never ever get the type of game like the old Final Fantasies were. It's just not possible. And in case they don't know, which I highly doubt, the creator left 20 something years ago after Final Fantasy X came out, and Square merged with Enix. And another example I would like to provide is the Mass Effect series, which I started playing recently with a Legendary Edition on the PS5, and I can't believe how good it is actually. Anyway, a lot of people consider the second title to be their favorite, and I'm assuming this is because of the story and the characters, even though it is much less of an RPG than the first game is.
So you might notice that I titled this video Review, but this sounds like a I do not recommend. So what's up with that? I mean, the truth is, I don't really recommend this, but I know that if I put out a video with the title, people are gonna accuse me of clickbait or being contrarian for the sake of views.
Yeah, man, don't worry about sounding like a contrarian. That's a prestige title, and those holding it can actually argue properly why they wouldn't like something in a genuine way with logical and reasonable arguments. And while your arguments do sound somewhat logical and reasonable at first, the more you talk, the more you are starting to become a contrarian to the opinions you laid out just a few minutes earlier in your own video, which kind of makes you come across more like an edgy teenager who wants to be perceived as cool, special, and different. You know, the kind that complains all the time without any substance whatsoever as to why he doesn't like something. So yeah, if I were you, I wouldn't be too worried about being called a contrarian. You're very safe.
I know how much this series means to people, and I don't like making videos where I'm like, hey, you know that thing that you really like and you're really excited about? It's actually not very good. I genuinely hate making those types of videos.
Bro, you did exactly what you just said you didn't want to do. Holy shit, man. Guys, I can't. I can't. Okay, I will try to be a bit more compassionate and give him the benefit of the doubt, since he lives in Australia and maybe his brain gets a bit scrambled and his mind confused because of it. You know, due to him living in a country from the southern hemisphere and spending his life upside down must not be so easy, I imagine, and most likely also affects his gaming experience. For us normal folks, however, it does not look too pretty when someone just spouts word vomit slop about something you love in a video and then just slaps it with the review title.
73.
Oh my god, I can't believe you actually have to do this in the game.
No local gas detected. Elevator access granted.
Oh my god, that was actually awesome, man. What do I have to do here? Okay, now I have to continue so. Oh no. I have to do this shit again, man. This is the worst thing I've ever seen in the video game. How could they do this, man? Oh my gosh. Oh my god, bro. I can't believe they put it in this into the game after you fight Sephiroth and shit. I've never seen stuff like this in any video game ever.
Local gas levels reduced by 7. No local gas detected. Elevator access granted.
Stand back. Take it from here.
Holy shit, that was awesome, man. Damn, that was actually really cool.
Nice work.
Run away. You have to leave. You have to live.
Hey! Hey! Hang in there! You're gonna be okay!
Oh shit. Set it off. No.
Here he is! Sephiroth!
Damn, man, this game is so intense. I really fucking love it. By the way, guys, I do not recommend this at all. Yeah, this is how a prick actually sounds like when saying shit he said about a game other people like said prick really liked. I bet it doesn't feel good, does it?
That is why I come back to that thing that I said at the start. Don't worry about what I or anyone else thinks. If Final Fantasy means something to you and you're excited for this, then you should buy it and play it, or at least seek out a bunch of other reviews from people you trust. There is every chance that you're going to love this. Do not let my take rob you of that. For me personally though, I do not like this. I really did not. I found myself disappointed by almost every aspect of it.
To be honest, man, I don't think your arguments are not any more or less valid than his arguments. I feel like you are getting too worked up about this for nothing. Well, let me tell you another perspective which might change your mind. Do you think your mother has great qualities as a human being, but she also has her flaws that sometimes annoy the shit out of you, right? But you don't actually stop talking to your mother forever because of this, thinking she's a really bad person, taking into account her flaws and her great qualities. Wait, what exactly do you mean by her great qualities? You know, like she's kind, nurturing, altruistic, all that stuff. Right. Considering all that I just said, while also her flaws, you still love her, right? I do. Well, so do I! What? The reason why I focused so much on this review in order to explain the problem I wanted to convey at the beginning of the video is that Skill Up here is barely making any valid criticism, and the other 90% of his arguments surrounding this title are that Final Fantasy XVI is not like an old Final Fantasy game. I am so inflamed about this because this guy is the embodiment of the obnoxious Final Fantasy fans that are stuck so much in the past that they become so ridiculously irrational, as you've seen here in this video, that they can't see or admit that the game is actually really good, even if you would smack them in the nuts. I'm not saying that every single person that tried this game and didn't get into it was because of this reason. 16 does have some issues and would make people dislike it or get bored with it. Unfortunately, a lot of them are not mentioned here in his review. Just think of the sheer amount of people that already made up their mind about this game because of him, and won't even touch this masterpiece. Honestly, it pisses me off because I think Square Enix did an outstanding, phenomenal job with this game. Praise to the team behind it, and I would really love to see more games like this. But then you have people say shit like what Skill Up says about it. And this guy.
The tragedy is, 16 on paper is so good. Dark, gritty, medieval fantasy. Main character can turn into Ifrit. There's swearing, there's drinking, there's smoking, there's this and that. But like in practice, it's so bad. In practice, it's so boring. It's so bad that anyone who defends the dialogue and the writing of 16 is automatically out of the conversation, alright? Your opinion cannot be taken seriously. Whatever, you enjoy the icon boss fights, that's cool. You enjoy Clive, he's mad. But if you defend the writing of 16, you are wrong. You do not know what writing is, or dialogue is, or pacing is on even the most basic, fundamental level. You're wrong. You defended the wrong thing. By all means, defend its graphics, defend its gameplay, defend its music, defend this, and that. But you cannot defend its writing or its pacing. You can't. There. Done. Finished.
Oh. Okay. So, people must really dislike this game.
Holy shit. Alright, let's talk about the game. God damn. Review? I mean, the game was really good, man. Yeah, overall, I'd say game's a solid 9 or 9.5 out of 10. There were some small things I'd want to improve, etc. I'd want to change. But, you know, overall, I'm very glad I played it. I thought it was fucking insane. It was really fun. I liked it a lot.
Oh, okay. So maybe all fans must really dislike it then?
Final Fantasy 16! Ladies and gentlemen, this game isn't even out yet, and I'll be honest with you, I'll be real. It's been my game of the year so far. But this, ladies and gentlemen, just stuck 2 double barrels of fun into my rectum. And I'll be real, I'm having a good time. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Final Fantasy, obviously I'm a little bit biased. I played pretty much all the Final Fantasy games. Yes, that includes Dirge of Cerberus. Yes, that includes the crappy mobile games. Yes, I am a Final Fantasy nut. I even played the Battle Royale.
But the story overall and the characters and the world building, this game really fucking nailed every bit of that. Like, the fact that I can cry over the NPCs of this goddamn game. I can cry over Gav and Karen and Goots and Otto and Vivian and Tarja. Like, all those NPCs that seemingly don't matter, and the fact that I fucking care so much about them is so good. So fucking good. Like the Dame and Martha and Quentin, like everybody, so fucking amazing. It's like that overall structure is goddamn impressive. Like, I'm just so thankful that this game exists, man.
It's so bad that anyone who defends the dialogue and the writing of 16 is automatically out of the conversation, all right? Your opinion cannot be taken seriously. Whatever, you enjoy the icon boss fights, that's cool. You enjoy Clive, he's mad. But if you defend the writing of 16, you are wrong. You do not know what writing is, or dialogue is, or pacing is on even the most basic, fundamental level. You're wrong. You defended the wrong thing.
How very interesting. I hope this really puts into perspective what I'm trying to convey here with this whole thing. This is my first video on YouTube, and I did not expect to be this long. Holy cow. I have no idea how this video will be received, since I've never done this sort of thing before. But if you're still here and thought my reasons about this issue are even remotely valid, please give it a like and consider sharing it. It would incentivize me to make more videos, since this takes so much time from me, and all while not receiving any money from it, and also having a full-time job. I will even leave a link for who wants to donate to my Patreon. And also, who is interested, I also stream sometimes on Twitch and Kick. And then upload the VODs on my other YouTube channel, which is called Going With The Flow. Don't forget, it is important to stay hydrated, eat relatively healthy, exercise, and occasionally suck a dick. Until next time.